Thank you, Father Gopanan. And thank you, everybody, for being here today. And we've talked a lot about that this is the 100th anniversary of the Ukrainian internment. And that's how a lot of people know it. But what we've discovered in the last few years is that it wasn't just Ukrainians who were interned. It made up the majority of the internees. But the reason that there is, that the Armenian priest was here to commemorate today is because there were Armenians who were interned as well. There were also Alevi Kurds who were interned. And the reason is because in World War I, we weren't just fighting, Canada was not just fighting Austria, Hungary, and Germany. We were also at war with Ottoman Turkey. The thing that all of the people who were interned in Canada have in common is that they were fleeing from oppressive regimes to come to Canada for freedom. When Ukrainians came to Canada for freedom, they were labeled Austrian. It wasn't for a very long time until Professor Lubomir Luchuk in the 1990s looked at documents and he recognized that these people who were interned in World War I were not Austrian, they were Ukrainian. And it was only very recently that we discovered that the people who were interned from the Ottoman Empire were not Turkish, even though they were called Turkish. They were mostly Alevi Kurds. And we have Suleiman Gavan. I would like you to just stand up for a minute. Suleiman Gavan is an Alevi Kurd, and he came from the area of where the people from Brantford who were interned came from. Thank you, Suleiman. And we have this very specific story that happened in Brantford because, yes, there were Ukrainians who were interned from Brantford, but it didn't really make news articles the way that the people from the Ottoman Empire did. And there were two people, Wayne Hunter and Bill Darfler, who are here too. Just wave, Bill. Who originally discovered clippings from newspapers of 100 years ago. And Wayne and Bill called me and said, let's meet for coffee at the Blue Dog because we've got some stuff to show you. And they showed me these clippings. And they wanted to show me because they knew that I'd written books, first of all, on the Armenian genocide. I've written 5 books on the Armenian genocide. Also, I, at that time, written 2 books on Ukrainian internment, plus my own grandfather had been interned. And my father is here, whose father was interned. Dad, just wave. My dad had the shadow of being the son of an internee for his whole life. So they showed me these clippings, and the people were referred to as Turks, just like Ukrainians were referred to as Austrians. And it took much digging for me to find out who these people really were. And again, there's nothing worse than being labeled as who you're fleeing from, and then going to the place of freedom, and then being arrested and imprisoned because they think you're the person that you're actually trying to escape from. It's a sad irony. And so I'm proud of the fact that I was able to do this research and this digging, and yes, the book it's called historical fiction, but every single thing in my book happened. It's written as 2 intertwining journals. One of Ali, who is here, and he is an immigrant who came to Canada from Ottoman Turkey, only to be arrested in Brantford and sent to campus casing. But the other story is about the fiancé that he left behind, Zainab, and they lived in a community with Armenians. And when Ali came here, he rented a room from Armenians because that's what happened in Brantford. Armenians and Ukrainians and Alevi Kurds all worked at boundaries together in this area, just down the hill from here. This whole area was an immigrant area 100 years ago. And so he is interned in Canada. But what happens to Zainab left behind? She sees her Armenian neighbors being rounded up because they're not part of the majority. They're to be rounded up, deported into the desert to die because of their faith and because of their ethnicity. I discovered something else, and it was stunning to me because what the Alevi Kurds from the Dersim area in Ottoman Turkey did during World War I and the Armenian genocide, they decided that they weren't going to stand and let this happen, and they actually set up a passageway through the Dersim Mountains to what was then Imperial Russia, and they saved 40,000 Armenians. So while things were happening here, where enemy aliens were being arrested and put in internment camps, in the Ottoman Empire, people were being killed. It's not the same. They're both injustices, but it's not the same. But there was this heroic group of people who tried to do something else. We also have, in Canada, I think that what makes Canada strong is that we have all come here for freedom. And what makes Canada strong is the fact that we do acknowledge injustices. And the internment of World War I has been acknowledged, and the government has acknowledged it and set aside a fund of $10 million so that never again will this kind of thing happen. Our government has also acknowledged the Armenian genocide, and not a lot of countries have done that. Our government has also acknowledged the whole of the North. We know how to say sorry because we're Canadians. Isn't that right? When you're in the grocery store, you know, someone bumps into you and you say, sorry, sorry, it's because you're Canadian. And that's what makes us strong. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. And this is happening in 100 places all across the country. Thank you.